position, right? This would create roles. Do you agree or disagree?
Not necessarily. Like I said, it's a partnership. So like, okay, it's a partnership.
How did that not make sense to you?
Because
How can you say no to that?
Because I'll tell you right now, I don't have a role in my relationship. I'm a partner in my relationship.
Okay, let me give you an analogy real quick.
Gay.
If you're working at a company,
John,
then you can easily point it out and say, yo, bro, this descriptor is false, is not rooted in any scientific facts or any biological data. This is wrong. So you're actually giving people the wrong information. So when people see this wrong information, the probability would increase of them using the wrong information. And then it's just going to get out there. It's going to be terrible for everybody. But if you agree that the descriptors that I gave in my opening or any red pill descriptors that you even know about that we can go over, if you disagree with those, let's debate the descriptors, because we're not debating other content creators.
No,
Why would I ever debate how people use? And Christianity is people holding up a LGBTQ flag in Christianity. And what I'm saying is, you just admit it. You can have guns don't kill people, people kill people, which means that people take information and do whatever they want to do with it.
Sure,
so you can't hold. So listen, you can't.
Yeah, so Raphael's whole argument was basically that because there are men who are depressed and suffering and unaliving themselves, it's all because of the red pill movement, which is total BS. He thinks that the red pill movement is telling men that he's pretty much convincing men that there's no hope and it's all women's fault, and then they unalive themselves. So that's what Cooley is referring to right here. Like, he's trying to compare it to a gun, that a gun is a tool, that the gun itself isn't bad. It's whoever uses it for whatever reason. That's the issue, the person. So he's trying to say that for the red pill movement, that there are going to be some men who use it for good. There are some men who obviously use it for bad. But the red pill is just descriptors. It's not a prescriptor. And so you can't blame it on the red pill movement itself.
You can't hold the gun accountable, and you can't hold red pill accountable.
Bullshit.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I can.
Well, explain to me how you can.
Guns can cause harm. Can they not? Can they not harm people?
No, you just admitted that they can't.
Okay.
People, only a person can.
Can people harm people in mass amounts without the gun? Is that possible?
What? Have you seen history? Come on, bro.
Are you being obtuse?
I'm being very serious.
No, you're being obtuse.
I'm being very serious. Have you seen history with all the killings and wars that happened in history, and they had no guns? They had arrows and knives and swords.
Yeah, the arrows.
And it was millions.
Is harm possible with a gun and weapons? Is harm possible?
Harm is possible with my fist. So should I cut off my hand?
Man, you are making some stupid ass arguments.
It isn't an argument. No, that isn't stupid.
That's rich for him to say that.
Harm is possible with my fist.
He has no room to say.
So should I cut off? Should I cut off my hand?
Positive and net negative. Red pill is not just a descriptor. It can't just be words on a screen. It's not just that. It has become and adopted by millions of men who I have already explained are hurting themselves, and you don't care about that because you're trying to make
you're making an assertion and saying that I don't care about something where I never said that. So now you're lying, and this is what I'm not going to do. So we've been live for 22 minutes, and during this whole thing, I did not say that you are a simp and you are promoting some nonsensical stuff, and what you're doing is harming men. I've never said anything about you. I'm arguing your argument, but you want to take it and say you don't care about men. Where did you get that from?
My entire opening.
In my entire opening, I just explained that red pill is a set of descriptors that equips men with the tools of knowledge so they can move in the dating marketplace. How is that hurting men?
Because they're not moving in the dating marketplace. And I've read you data that shows that. They're not dating. They're not dating. So it's not helping them. And I'm telling you that they're hurting themselves. And you're saying, who cares? Because it's just a descriptor. That's what
got it. So you think No, I didn't say who cares. So you're putting words in my mouth again.
Well, why?
I'd never said who cares.
I'm talking about the
You
actual negative effects of red pill, and you're just saying, well, it's a descriptor, so who cares? That's what you're saying.
Wait, when did I say who cares?
That's what you're implying.
No, I'm saying that you are arguing something that is silly to argue because you've just admitted that guns don't kill people. People kill people. So
but people
if
use
we're
guns
speaking,
to kill people.
So then who takes accountability then? The gun? Did you ever see a gun go to jail?
I'm saying the person
Did a
and the
gun
gun
ever go to
hand in
jail,
hand.
bro?
No, of course not. That's a stupid question.
Okay,
What
so
I'm
people
saying,
go to
that's a
jail.
stupid question. You know it. Yes, people go to jail because they're using
how
guns.
Can red pill be accountable for if someone
do people go to jail for gun crimes? Do people go to jail for gun crimes?
Stop
do people go to
How
jail
can
for,
red pill be accountable?
Do people go to jail
I was
for
in the
gun
middle
crimes?
of asking you a question, and I will answer your question.
You asked me your stupid question about guns going to jail, and I'm saying, do people go to jail for gun crimes?
Man, Raph doesn't. He keeps calling like what Cooley says stupid or stupid arguments. He doesn't realize how stupid he sounds. But Cooley could absolutely concede this and be like, yeah, no, people do go to jail for gun crimes, but it doesn't really mean anything. Like, so what does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. It helps like Cooley's point that, yeah, some people, Cooley is conceding that some people could use the gun for bad. So I don't know what Raph is trying to get at here.
You said you've already said, yeah, people go to jail. People go to jail, not guns go to jail.
People go to jail for gun crimes.
You've already said people go to jail.
Answer the question. Do people go to jail for gun crimes?
Yes, people go to jail, not the guns.
Okay, but the gun is a big part of the reason they get sentenced. The gun is a big part of their sentencing. If they use a gun, if you go rob a store with a gun, if you go rob a store with your fist, you're not going to get as harsh of a penalty than if you go in with a gun. The gun is a factor in the harm that's being caused.
Yeah, but it's not specifically the gun. I mean, I think if you go rob a store and you have like a sword or a knife, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's harsher with a gun or not. I just think considering if you have any kind of weapon, so again, if you have a knife, you have a sword, if you have a freaking mace or something like that, I'm pretty sure it's all going to go under like, oh, he was armed, right? I might be wrong on that. You know, I'm no law expert or anything. I don't know if it's specifically the gun is what makes it like, ugh.
And so what I'm saying is that red pill is a descriptor. The gun is being used to harm men online. And you're just saying, who cares?
Got it.
It's being used to harm men.
Got it. So within that situation, if someone uses a gun, and then they go to prison based off the gun that they use to commit whatever crime, right? They use this gun. Is the gun ever accountable for the crime or the person?
It is a factor in the sentencing. So
no. You said the gun is accountable?
I said it is a factor in the sentencing.
Okay, but the gun is never accountable.
No, it's an inanimate object, but that doesn't mean it doesn't cause harm.
Wait. How can a gun cause? So if a gun is laying in someone's garage, and it's never used, does that gun ever cause harm?
No.
Okay. That
gun is being used. That red pill is being used.
Real quick.
That gun is being used.
The only way the gun can cause harm is if someone chooses to pick up that gun and then they have a choice to either do something harmful with it or do something good with it. You still have a choice. Real quick.
Men are using
do you
that
still
gun.
Have a okay? Real quick. Do you still have a choice?
Yes, but I'm saying that
so
men
now
are
when it comes to red pill,
men are choosing to use that gun to harm men online.
Oh, got it. So now when it comes to red pill, if red pill is a set of descriptors, red pill is the gun. Red pill is not a net negative for men because red pill is a net is guns a net negative for men?
I would say yes. You know, most guys, most men. Can I answer the question?
All cops have guns. Our military has guns, and they use those guns to protect us.
Are you just going to react, or can I answer the question? Are you going to react?
You answered the question.
You already did answer the question, bro.
I didn't finish.
You said yes.
That most men who have guns in their homes. Do you know who most likely the victim is?
It doesn't matter who the victim is because it's the person that chooses to do something good or bad with the gun.
The most likely victim of people who own a handgun.
That's just moving a goalpost.
It's not moving the goalpost.
Yeah. So
You
what you're
said-
doing
you said,
is,
are guns a net positive or a
Let me
net
help you out.
negative? I am not. No, you don't. I need your help. What I'm saying is that guns. You said, are guns a net positive for men or net negative? And I'm telling you
Mhm.
that it's a net negative because most likely the person who owns a gun, most people that use it on is themselves. That is
Okay.
99% of like the uses. They're not shooting other people. They're typically shooting themselves. So I would say it's a net negative. But here we are talking about guns because you can't talk about the actual subject.
No, we're
of
speaking
red
about
pill
the
hurting
subject.
men.
We're speaking about the subject.
It still doesn't matter though. The gun is just the tool. It's not like the reason why they're doing it. The gun is just the tool. You know, it doesn't matter if I were to snap my fingers and guns were all wiped off, there would still be men unaliving themselves in the homes. So I mean, it wouldn't matter. I don't know what his point was right there. Just other than trying to say like, oh well, guns are super harmful because of this. Well, no, like how about get to the reasons why men unalive themselves? Like he wants to blame it on red pillism, but I mean, I could easily make the case about feminism. I could say, well, listen, because feminism wants to make men guilty for being men and not allow men to be men, or how do you say, maybe might inspire women to treat men a certain way. It could lead to men getting depressed, and therefore feminism is dangerous. It's harmful. It's a harmful tool. But if I were to point that out, I'm pretty sure Raphael would still be like, no, 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 which he actually does later on.
Subject. So I'm a 6'4", 205-pound man.
Mm-hmm.
These couldn't be lethal. You get what I'm saying? So is my hand a net positive or a net negative for me? My fist.
Our fists. How many fists do people kill people per year?
What I'm saying is, these fists can kill someone.
How many people die from fists a year?
Listen, these
No,
fists
answer the
can
question.
kill someone.
How many people die from fists a year?
These fists can kill someone.
How many people die from fists a year?
Okay, so here's what I'll do is I'll throw you an olive branch here,
I
right?
don't need
So it's very simple. Manipulation happens when you focus on the effects instead of getting to the root, the cause of things, the cause of the conversation. When we're speaking, you keep moving towards descriptors. You keep moving towards action. You keep moving towards how things should be or things happening, right? That's what you're moving towards. Before things happen, before people make any choice, right? Before people make a choice, it's how things are. It's just rooted into facts and in biology, how things are, right?
I told you how things are. Men who have guns kill themselves more than
that is not how things are.
That is how they are. It's a fact.
No, that is not how things are. That is not.
That is how things are.
Okay. Once again,
it's a fact.
That is not how things are. So
if a fact is not how things are, then
you just moved the goalposts again. So we're gonna get back on topic real quick, bro.
Is a fact how things are?
So you know what? And I'll actually engage with this a little bit. As far as the prescription part, we'll engage with the prescription and the content just a little bit. But first, before we engage in that, we have to engage with the descriptors. Are you okay with that?
Okay, let's engage with hypergamy. I already can counter that.
We can engage with whatever you want. Okay, so first we're going to engage with the descriptors. And then after we engage with the descriptors, we'll go ahead and engage with the prescriptions. And the prescriptions is going to be based off of what Red Pill doesn't prescribe anything. But I guess if you want to speak about what content creators push forward and maybe what can be a good message versus a bad message. It seems like that's the angle that you want to speak on, correct?
If we were having a debate about guns, to use your analogy, and you said, well, a gun is a tool that's used, it's never used for harm, it's just the thing, we would be talking about how people use guns. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do here.
No. One is much different. The debate is red pill. Correct. So my definition of red pill is a set of descriptors,
right?
Not a set of prescriptions. So red pill isn't telling anyone. So think about how can red pill be bad if red pill isn't telling anyone to do anything, but it's just describing things.
But did you hear my analogy?
I'm going to dispute your analogy. How can a gun be bad if a gun is not can a gun speak and say, pick up this gun and rob a bank? Can a gun speak and say, hey man, you should kill your whole family? Guns don't do that. You already admitted that guns do not kill people. People kill people. So let's go with the descriptors, right?
No,
hold on. You said that you disagreed with.
You said let's stay with the analogy. if we're having a debate about guns and you said a gun is harmless on its own, but we're talking about it being a net positive or net negative for society, we would have to discuss how guns are used. So for you to say we can't discuss the prescriptors is a fallacy.
No, it's not a fallacy. Once again, you just moved the goalpost on how something can be used. I'm not speaking about how something can be used. I'm speaking about what it is that we're actually speaking about.
So net positive and net negative.
Stop it real quick. It's very simple.
Matters.
You don't have the ability to like think linear, like 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 2 = 4.
I don't know how to do
arithmetic. We can go ahead and get to that. We can go ahead and get to the prescriptions, but before we get to how things should be and all of that, we have to speak about how things are.
I'm telling you how things are.
No, you didn't.
How things are.
I'm telling you how things are. It's like, well, no, it's a debate though. Why don't you engage? You know, Cooley might have some different ideas about how things are or whatever. You have to. That's what the debate's about. So yeah, Cooley's right. You have to get into the descriptors and dissect the descriptors before you can actually analyze whether or not it's a net benefit or a net negative to society.
You are contradicting. So let me ask you the question again. Do guns kill people or do people kill people?
People kill people with guns. That's
got you. Totally fine. You said people kill people with the gun. Guns. So that means that you would have to have a person use the gun, right?
Correct.
So this all comes after just the gun. This all comes
just like
after the gun.
Prescriptors
God knows. You talk about prescriptors again.
Prescriptors.
We're just speaking about the gun itself.
Yeah, no,
but
this guy
negative
is a
and
joke.
Positive on society.
Like, it gets like he ends up like later on he contradicts himself a lot, and he's like actually gets annoying. Like, I actually want to hit this guy up, and I actually kind of want to interview him on my channel and have a conversation about this stuff because he contradicts himself a lot, and it's like really frustrating to listen to. Again, it just seems like Andrew Wilson pointed this out at the and on their debate. How it just seems like he hates men, like he's a misandrist. And he's like, what? No, I'm not a misandrist. But it's like, as you'll see later on, it's like, how could you not? Even people accuse him of being hateful towards men all the time or blame everything on men. He's like, I don't know why I get that. It's like, well, look how you sound.
The usage matters. And the fact that you deny that is silly.
Because no one said that the usage of guns don't. So
that's the net
listen.
Positive.
That is wrong. The usage of guns do not actually matter. It's how it's being used. It's what the gun is used for.
How red pill's being used.
Stop and listen. Right. The gun can be used for good.
It's being used a net negative.
Be used for bad.
So we're talking about usage. Exactly. Right? We're not talking about descriptors anymore. We're talking about usage.
This all comes after the actual gun, the descriptor. So now you just said that you disagreed. Let's have the debate, man. You just said that you have a disagreement with hypergamy. Go ahead and explain whatever you wanted to say about hypergamy.
Well, at one point you were saying that women always marry men with more income. They're always looking for that. But as of 2023, 45% of U.S. households, women earn just as much or more than their man. So hypergamy, I think, is on its way out. So that already is a false claim by Red Pill. It's no longer.
It's not undisputable because if you've listened to my opening, I said very clear: women have a natural propensity to mate select with wanting a man that's higher in status. With its educational status, social economic status, women normally date up. That is just the facts. Now, what happens is in modernity, since women are in the workforce, they're still dating up. Just their standards go up as well. So think about this, right? If women, let's just debunk this real quick. If women are in the workforce and women are in college now, so women are kind of making about the same as men. You would say are almost there.
I just said 45% of households. Yes, 45% of households, women make more. Almost, 50-50.
They're getting there. So what happens is they have two decisions: to either lower their standards or to still have high standards. And the data shows that women are still choosing to date a man that earns more.
Yeah, no, it's not surprising at all because it logically follows. Like women are always going to want to see men that out earn them or could still provide for them. in general, obviously, I'm speaking in generalities. So it would make sense that even if women are earning more, they're still going to seek higher status men. It's just how it is biologically.
30% of women out earn their husbands as of 2023, and husbands, people they're married to.
Totally fine. The general truth is that 70% of men out earn their wives. So
that doesn't say anything though, because did they start off married with the woman earning more? Did it start off that way? Or did they get married on equal ground, or maybe the husband was earning more, and then when they got married, the women moved up? Like, that doesn't really tell us much.
So you're not disputing anything.
I'm saying the trend is going the other way. At least a third of households and half of the households, they earn equal. Like that, I'm disputing plenty.
No, you're not disputing a biological truth in women that still want to. They still choose to date up. That's a biological truth. Now, do women make concessions?
I just said 30% out earn their husbands.
Is that the majority?
Well, 45% earn the same, so it's pretty close, dude.
No, it's still that women choose to date up, bro. So you can't dispute hypergamy.
Yes, I can.
Your data doesn't even prove it. So what are you speaking about?
I'm saying that women couldn't open a bank account 50 years ago, and now they're catching up to men. So
that's totally good.
Away.
So
yes, but what I'm saying is that women at one point in life,
Super chat break. Thank you very much, Michael, for the super chat. Very much appreciated. Hey, bro, I became a member last night. Keep up the good work. Dude, thank you very much, brother. Very much appreciated. By the way, all your super chats and memberships and stuff, all that goes back to the channel. That's why you could see me more clearly now. It's because I got a light, huh? And I couldn't have done that with, well, I probably could have done it without your donos, but your donos still help a lot. So if you want to help the channel grow, donations will be very welcome. Link in the pinned comment to my Cash App and all that stuff.
Point in life, women were economically dependent on men, and now that's no longer the case.
Yeah. So what do you predict is going to happen? You predict that women are going to still choose to date men that are earning much less than them, or what do you think is going to happen?
I think women are going to care less and less about how much their men earn. They're going to want someone in the home, and I already know this from all the women I speak to and all the other.
That's
data.
What you think.
Yeah, I know.
So your prediction is that.
Your first mistake is you're listening to women. Women don't know what the hell they want. Like, you can't. Here's the thing. You could listen to women, but don't take them at face value. You have to, with women, you kind of have to look, you have to read between the lines with women. All right. In general, obviously. Yeah, there's some times where, yeah, you could take them at face value. I'm not saying all the time, but you have to know kind of how to, with men, you take things at face value. I tell you straight up what I'm thinking, but women aren't like that. You got to read between the lines and stuff. So when you say I talk to all these women, it doesn't really mean much. And especially women usually go for the more politically correct takes, or the ones that sound good.
So your prediction is that women are going to fully out-earn men, and then they're going to change their preferences to prioritize other characteristic traits in a man rather than what their biology is telling them.
They already are prioritizing other traits. They already are.
Okay. So you think that women prioritize other traits?
They already do.
And how many women have you? Where did you get this data from? Or prove it to me.
Gallup dating research reports that women rate kindness, emotional intelligence, and reliability above financial status. That's recent data.
Got it. Now, do you believe that women say one thing to be politically correct, but then their actions show something else?
No, because
you don't believe that.
No, you look at people who are married. No, I don't. Because if you look at
so you never heard that women say that women. Oh, real quick, you never heard that women say, "Oh yeah, I want a nice guy," but then they end up choosing the bad guy.
Nice. I can go into. Do they?
Have you ever heard that before? Yes or no? Just answer that question.
Do they marry?
Answer that question.
Do they marry?
Sometimes they do.
I'm talking about marriages.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do marry the bad guy.
They divorce them. I'm saying marriages that
they divorce the good guy too. What you talking about?
Oh, yeah, they divorce them for no reason. Yeah, they divorce people for no reason.
We're not speaking about the.
See, and then when you tell them a stat like how come women initiate more of the divorces on average, he'll just put it like, "Wow, the women were usually miserable." Like it's always on the men. It's not that women are more incentivized to get a divorce than men. Women have more to gain from divorces. So obviously it ain't gonna be no thing for them to get a divorce. So then they're gonna be more likely to initiate the divorce. But Raphael wants to put that as, well, no, it has to be because the man wasn't satisfying her needs or something.
Do you know the
I'm
top
saying that
reasons women get divorced?
they
You know the
divorced
top
the
reasons?
bad guys and the good guys, man. So what are you speaking about right now? But let's go back to hypergamy, right? So your prediction is that, well, women, they're going to change their preferences
They
and
already
they're
are.
going to look into they're going to prioritize other things in men, right?
They already are.
Okay, what I predict is this, and what has already been happening prior to contraceptives, prior to social media and Instagram and all of the dating apps, the dating marketplace was regulated, meaning that, well, women, in order how they normally dated men, was they always prioritize quality because they have a more burden when it comes to they have a higher burden when it comes to getting pregnant, which means that women will look for characteristic traits in a man where it's like, okay, he's a protector, he's a provider, he's stuff like that, right? But then that's how it was prior to modernity and contraceptives and all of those other things. That's what you agree with.
I agree.
Now, currently in modernity, with all of the contraceptives and social media and Instagram and the dating apps, what it did was it deregulated the sexual marketplace. So now women, instead of them, looking for, normally the girl was bound to the guys in her town, right? It's like, okay, right. I got a guy in my town. I'll go for the Chad. If I can't get the Chad, I'll go for the guy that's in church. They kind of operated in a small little circle of guys in their town. But now the sexual marketplace is deregulated. You got girls on Instagram. They can go ahead and post a thirst trap and get attention from an NFL player or an NBA player, right? So that deregulated the sexual marketplace. So Katie that's living in San Francisco, she was supposed to be, Brad's girl. Right, that was supposed to be Brad's girl. They were like a perfect match. They went to school together, all of that. But now Katie can post a booty pic on Instagram, and now she's Tyrone's girl, right? And Tyrone is just hitting it. He plays for the NFL, but he sends her back. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that deregulated the sexual marketplace because women are hypergamous. So I predict that, well, what's going to happen is, we know that women generally don't like lowering their standards. I think that women are going to still be in the workforce. Women are going to still educate men and stuff like that, but their standards are going to increase. And most women
are increasing.
Are increasing. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, but they're not.
But Raphael's probably like, that's a good thing.
So let me finish. Let me just land my plane, and I'll let you go. So I'm just giving you my prediction. Your prediction was very slow, very, very quick. My prediction is just a little bit longer. What I predict is, and what we already see a trend of what's happening, women's standards just increase. And as their standards increase, their options go down because most men can't meet their standards, right? So since most men can't meet their standards, what do you famously hear women saying now? I'll rather be single than lower my standards. So what I predict is more women, if they can't get the guy that meets their standards, they'll choose to be single and live with cats and dogs. That's what's going to happen because women don't like lowering their standards. If men don't understand this truth and work on self-improvement and working on things that can increase their status in the sexual dating marketplace, then women are not going to choose a lot of men. Or guess what? What's happening now is they kind of choosing the same set of men. The top 5% of men is getting most of the sexual access from women. And that's already happening. And that's what I predict that will happen. Okay. I do not predict. What I don't predict is what, real quick, what I don't predict, got it, real quick. What I don't predict is what you said. I don't believe that women are going to have a biological change in their preferences and say, you know what? I don't want a man that's tall and strong and that makes more money. I'm going to look for his personality. No, we all judge a book by its cover. Women want confident, dominant, masculine men that exhibit certain characteristic traits to protect and provide. And they're always going to choose that. And if they can't choose it, they're going to check out. I'll land my plane there, but go ahead, man.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with all these feminists and stuff, like in this guy, this male feminist right here, I'm not sure if he identifies himself as a male feminist, but he sure seems to defend feminism a lot. So I'm just going to call him one. You know, they deny biology. That's their main thing. They deny how men are. They deny how women are, all for the sake of like equality and stuff. Even though it's gone past equality, now it's like kind of gone to past where now you're kind of boosting women to more where, yeah, now you're starting to see more women out earning men and stuff. And what do you think that's doing to men? Like Raphael, who concerns himself with men harming themselves. Like he's so concerned with men self-unaliving and stuff like that, but he doesn't think that this is harmful to men's like just to men in general, to like their self-esteem, to just their ability to get women and stuff like that's. You don't think that's going to affect their moods and their depression, the rate of depression in them and stuff? Like you don't think that's going to have any effect? Like, come on.
And you can just Google it, is irreconcilable differences and then also finances.
Dude,
finances.
did you ever research this? Have you ever researched this?
Finances.
You're lying. First off, you're wrong.
Right
First
now.
off, you're lying.
So
dude, I already did. I'll show you what it is. I'll show you what it is.
Listen,
I know what it is. No. You made a bad claim. I'm gonna fix it.
Let me finish my statement.
Stupid claim.
No, it's not stupid at all. No, it's not stupid at all. It's already statistically proven that if a man is married to a woman and something happens with his financial stability, he ends up losing his job, or he's not making the same amount of money that he was making before. The probability of her, stop it. Okay, now you're cutting me up. I'll let you speak, bro. The probability for her to divorce him. But did I cut you off when you were just speaking?
Well, let me talk too.
Okay, well, you cut me off. Let me just land my point. Let me land my plane. The probability for the woman to divorce a man when he loses his job or something goes wrong with his normal financial.
Oh my goodness, this guy, he's seething.
The probability goes up.
Look at him. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. He just won't let me talk. I'm like, ugh. I just want to claw his eyes out.
Divorce that man. So if you say that women are not prioritizing finances anymore, why is that still one of the number one reasons on why they divorce a man?
You don't know what you're talking about. It's not another.
Yes, it is.
Listen for you. Can I
yes,
listen
it
for you?
is,
Can
bro.
You let me fucking
Anybody
talk?
can Google it in the chat.
And
even in your debate with Andrew Wilson, which was 3 weeks ago, Andrew Wilson pulled it up live, and he even pulled it up on Google and said, "Hey, one of the number one reasons for divorce is finances."
It was not that.
Yes.
No, it wasn't.
Yes.
Dog,
and the other number one reason, and the other reason is irreconcilable differences. What are you speaking about, bro?
This is the shit I'm talking about, man. You're spreading lies. That is not what it is.
That isn't a lie. That is true.
The top 4 reasons people get divorced, that women file for divorce. Do you know what they actually are?
I heard in your debate with Andrew Wilson, which is a lie. One of them, you said cheating, right?
Yes, it's number 3. Cheating is number 3.
You said cheating. Okay. What was the other one?
3. Lack of emotional support. And
lack of emotional support.
Number 1 and 2. And you want to pull up
emotional
the actual
support.
study?
So you think that men are being?
Hold on. If I pull up the study and I show you it, if I pull up the study and show you show your audience.
Listen, it's very easy, man. It's very simple here, man.
If I show you the data, will you show your audience so you stop telling them fucking lies?
It isn't lies at all. It isn't lies. What you're saying is a lie. So here's what we're gonna do.
If I show you the
here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a logical discussion. Let's have a logical discussion about it.
Shit up, dude.
No, but we can speak about it logically.
If I send you,
the woman's what supersedes the woman's. If what supersedes that in a man, if it's not his finances, what else is it? What supersedes finances?
I've already told you what they prioritize, but you denied it. So
no, okay, so totally fine. Let's just walk through the logic. So what women prioritize over finances is, you said, emotional what?
Kindness, emotional intelligence, and reliability.
Kindness, emotional intelligence, and reliability.
Correct.
Okay. So do you think that if a woman met a man
I think reliability, I do think that is something a woman might value, reliability, but that goes in with someone who's going to be there for you to help take care of you and stuff. That kind of goes with that. In terms of the EQ stuff, that's something I think that the women say, like, oh, because it sounds nice. Yeah, I like a man who's in tune with my emotional needs. Like, I mean, of course you're gonna want that, but I don't think it's up there.
That was kind, that had emotional intelligence, and had reliability.
In terms of being kind, that doesn't mean. Keep in mind, that doesn't mean nice. Kind just means like, well, yeah, you're not gonna they're not going to be cruel to the wife and stuff. And by the way, who's not going to want someone who's kind? I mean, I think a man wants a woman who's kind, right? I don't think there's a guy out there that's like, I want a woman who's a piece of shit. You know, I want a woman who's going to be mean. Like, no one's going to say that. So that doesn't even really mean anything.
But he was 5'2" and obese and broke. Do you think that she would give him a chance?
I think attraction plays a large part in it, of course.
Okay,
attraction is a large part of dating.
Now we're getting somewhere, right? Attraction is a large part of dating. So
Yes.
you don't think that most women would choose that man because she's not attracted to him?
No, but I do know that most people that are married are under 6 foot tall. So I don't know what point you're trying to make.
Most do you know who said I didn't give a height, but we do know that most women that are married, the husband is taller than the wife.
Sure, but they're under 6 foot tall. You're right.
It doesn't matter. The average height of men, of men are 5'8", is either 5'8" to 5'9". 6 foot is above average.
You're right.
No one's saying above average.
You're right.
We're just saying my standpoint is women want a man to be taller, to be stronger, and to make more finances, to make more money. That's hypergamy. Women have a natural proclivity to date up. They don't want to date their equal in those areas. They want to date their superior in those areas. And this is rooted in their biological makeup. So real quick, you just said that women wouldn't choose the man if he was broke, correct?
Probably not, no.
Probably not. All right. So that
there are men at
means
McDonald's that are married.
Oh, real quick. She wouldn't choose, but there's not a whole lot of men at McDonald's that's married.
I bet if you go to any McDonald's, there's at least one guy in there that's married.
Cooley just straight up laughing at him because, I mean, yeah, that's ridiculous. Any McDonald's, there's going to be at least one guy. Yeah, no, I'm pressing X to down on that.
I doubt that, but okay. Okay, fair enough. So let's speak about this logically real quick, because we don't have to bring up data, man, because we agree on something real fast. We both agreed that, well, women, if they mate select, you just contradicted yourself. I want to point that out. You said that they prioritize emotional stability and these other two things over finances. But if he was broke and he had the emotional intelligence and all of that, she wouldn't choose him.
No, I'm saying that they prioritize that over financial stability.
Okay, but now once again, if the woman met a man that was broke, but he had all of those other characteristic traits you said, like emotional stability and all of that, do you think that she would choose the broke man over the man that is that maybe doesn't meet the emotional threshold and stuff, whatever you said, the emotional stability, but he's well off? Which man do you think a woman would choose? The guy that pulls up in a nice car and has some financial stability, or the guy that is taking the bus to work?
I think it depends on the lady. Fact that
you said you think it depends. What I'm saying here is the woman wouldn't even give the man a chance if he pulled up and hopped off of a bus.
I disagree.
Over the man that pulled up in a nice car. That is a lie.
Do you know how many women married their college guy when he had no money?
Okay, real quick. Let me just.
Yeah, but did she also have no money? Were they kind of like, and did he major in something that could potentially lead to a high-paying job? That doesn't mean anything.
I'll ask you this real quick.
Let's
ask it another way, because I don't think, let's say it's this way. What I'm saying is this: women, they have prerequisites, and a man has to meet their prerequisites. Men, we also have prerequisites, and women have to meet our prerequisites.
Right.
I'm saying that the woman wouldn't give the guy a chance if he doesn't meet her prerequisites. And the prerequisites is literally like judging a book by its cover. You get what I'm saying? So here's another question for you. Two scenarios, guy A, guy B. Guy A, he pulls up in a regular car. What's a regular car? Like a Honda. He pulls up in a regular car, gets out of the car, and he greets this woman. Now, everything else is equal in a man. The other man, he gets out of a bus to greet her. Which guy is more attractive? Everything is equal. Which guy is more attractive in a woman's eyes?
It depends on the woman. They're not a monolith.
Wait, time out. Stop it, bro. Now you're just lying.
Yeah.
Listen, bro. I'll ask it again.
They're not a monolith.
No one's speaking about a monolith. I'm speaking about
generalities, dude.
They
also always pretend to not understand generalities. They deny biology, and they pretend not to understand generalities. That we're speaking in general. We're not saying every single woman is going to pick the same choice. We're saying in general, most of the time they're going to pick the same choice.
Biological attraction triggers that women look for in a man. So I'll say it again: guy A and guy B is equal. They actually look the same, bro. They're just equal. One gets out of a bus to talk to her, literally gets off the metro to talk to her. The other guy hops out of his Honda Civic to talk to her. But all of the guys is equal. Both of the guys is equal. Their interactions with the girl is equal. Who do you think the woman would find more attractive based off of this material stuff? Because material, if you peel the layer back, it equals your finances. It equals your ability to create resources. So which man would be more attractive to the woman? Hopping out the bus or hopping out of Honda Civic?
They had the exact same personality, exact same humor, exact same
everything
ambition,
the same.
Then yeah, they're gonna want the guy who makes more money. But so what? I can give you a counter. So
what? Dude, and notice how he answers the question like, yeah, makes more money, and then he quickly tries to pivot to something. Not pivot, but he tries to quickly just kind of brush that aside. But dude, he even just admitted it. Like, why can't he just be honest?
What are you?
You just contradicted yourself,
no,
man.
Yeah,
you did.
Come on, dude. Come on.
Okay, prove me wrong.
Okay, would your woman, if you have a woman, would she rather you make a lot more money or make a lot less money if you're the exact same guy?
I believe that every woman on this planet will want the man that makes more money. If all is equal.
Who wouldn't? That's like saying, well, let me ask you something. Would you rather have a woman that has a nice body or a nice body and a nice face? Which would you rather have?
Well, men were very simple, and we're not as complex as women. So that's not saying that. I'll give you the comparison, right?
Notice too how he defaults to like looks with women for us. So he goes, well, wouldn't you rather have a woman with a nice face and a nice body? Like, yeah, who's not going to say that? So just notice how he kind of in a way acknowledges the biological difference that women are going to want higher status men that make more money compared to men who are more attracted to looks. We are visual creatures. We're mostly attracted to good looking women. And so notice how he defaults to biology with that. And he doesn't even realize it. So I know, like, he doesn't use the same comparison with men. He doesn't go, wouldn't you rather have a wife that makes more money than you or something? Like, he doesn't say that. He goes to looks with us. So subconsciously he acknowledges biological difference between men and women, but but because doesn't help his argument, he then denies it.
We're comparing here. Me asking you that question was to prove to you and the audience that women's their natural biological attraction triggers will never change. It will never change.
But what I'm telling you is that attraction is only a part of the equation. Attraction is only a part of it. Have you ever seen Millionaire Matchmaker? These millionaires can't get women. And you're sitting here acting like anyone who's a millionaire automatically gets women.
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm not sure. Listen, I don't watch that show, but I'm pretty sure it's not that they can't get women. It's that they can't hold on to a woman. I think that's what the issue is. Or maybe they haven't found a woman that could that they trust and loves them for them. I don't think the issue with the millionaires is that they can't get women. I think they could get them, but on those shows, those are for the idea of the show. And I know it's just television, so it's probably not even real anyway, but assuming it's all real, they're looking for a long-term relationship. It's not for a short-term thing.
Saying that personality, kindness, humor, those things matter to women. And you're acting like it doesn't matter.
No one said that doesn't matter. That wasn't even in my analogy.
Women are attracted to certain people,
I think
they are attracted to other kinds of things too. Attraction comes in a million different ways. They're not a monolith.
It's a cop-out,
I got it.
Dude.
You missed the point. You said that women do not prioritize. You said that women do not. You said that women prioritize these other three traits. Let me get them again so I can write it down. Emotional what?
Kindness, emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And kindness. What else?
Hold on. I forget what the other one was.
Man, you should know. You know what they want, right?
Yeah, right.
Reliability.
This is the dude that talks to all the women.
Reliability.
Also, I did
Okay.
a survey of 2,000 women on my page, and I asked them, why do they love their husbands? Why do they love their partners?
Yeah.
Money was never a part of it.
Yeah. And yeah, women
Yeah,
always
sure.
gonna give the political correct answer
Yeah.
on why
That's
they
an easy cop out, dude. That's an easy
No,
cop out.
no,
That's
it's
You're the
not.
king of
easy
cop
fucking
outs.
cop out. Oh, they're lying, right? They're just lying.
It's not that they're lying. It's just like, well, first of all, if they're already married to their husbands, then obviously they're going to love them more for than what the money is. But also, too, it's like, yes, women do give the politically correct answer. They're not going to straight up and say, oh, yeah, money was a big part of it, you know? Like, no, I'm pretty sure they all married men, or a majority of them married men, because they were good earners and they could provide. Because that's what it's all about. That's why women seek the higher earning men, is because they want men that could provide for them and their family. That's why they seek it out. It's not like like a gold digger type of deal. I mean, yeah, there are gold diggers out there, but in general, the instinct the natural instinct that rules this thing, this biological factor, is that they want a man that could take care of them. You know, that's what women want. Women want a man who could take care of them and their children. So that's why the earning status is important.
Well, listen, man, what I'm saying is we'll get more into detail and I'll debunk what you just said too. Okay. But I've had more women on my podcast than you even interviewed, and I coached in so you given your little anecdotal experience, it says nothing here, bro.
2,000 people is not an anecdotal experience.
And I'm pretty sure Cooley's actually giving him honest and good advice too. You know, he's not just allowing the women to tell them their PC answers. I'm pretty sure Cooley's actually being honest, and that's how he's been able to help these women out.
I have women that literally send me messages and reach out, basically send them voice notes, crying on a voice note because I changed their lives and their marriage and everything like that.
I got men doing the same thing for me.
Oh,
so
okay,
what?
cool. So, but what I'm saying is, you giving an anecdotal stat, it means nothing because my audience is much bigger than you. So I'm going to have a bigger pool of me helping out men and women over you helping out men and women. So if you want to compare apples to apples and give anecdotal experiences, I still win the debate. So it's pointless to do that. Let's just have the arguments and speak that way. So when we're speaking about hypergamy, you are saying that women prioritize emotional intelligence, kindness, and reliability over finances. So
Correct.
Here's another question to you, right? If the man, so it's very simple. Certain men won't even get the chance with a woman, and certain women won't even give a man a chance if he doesn't meet her prerequisites. So my argument is that before the woman even gets to know if he has emotional intelligence, if he is kind, and if he is reliable, if he doesn't meet her prerequisite, she will not give him a chance. So what this conversation that we're having is, you're speaking about effects, I'm speaking about the cause. And manipulation, like I said in the beginning, happens when you focus on the effects instead of going to the root, the cause. Currently, it seems like you don't have a problem and you can't dispute my cause. So what I'm saying is, the cause of this and women choosing to mate select and picking men, that it displays him having the ability to garner resources and protect her. She's always going to choose that guy. This is why you chose, the woman would choose the guy that's driving the Honda Civic over the Metro bus. It's because if you peel back the layer to the woman's psychology, she sees that, the material means something. Because if you peel back material on what the man has, in order for him to have this, he has to create resources in order to get it. This is why she chooses the man that drives the Honda Civic rather than hopping off a bus. So the biological attraction triggers never changes. Can you dispute that? Yes or no?
Yes, I can. I've told you a million times. Attraction is one part of the
What?
equation. Attraction is one part
But
of the equation.
before the woman selects that man, how can a woman know if he's emotionally intelligent if she sees him hop
Exactly.
off the metro bus and she says, "Ew, I don't want to talk to you"? How can she give him a chance? Answer that.
What I'm saying is that that's not how she
Answer that
selects her mate.
question.
She didn't select
Answer
her
the
mate there.
question.
But you're saying she
Answer the
selected a mate.
question.
She didn't select her mate there.
Answer the
Why does this guy have to deny reality, dude? Like, Cooley's making complete sense. And I think, but this is a great screen grab, by the way. But, and I think, you know, deep down, this guy like knows it and recognizes it, but for some reason, he's still clinging on to this. No, but my feminism. Like these feminists, they think that if they acknowledge biology and acknowledge reality, then women are going to go back to the Handmaid's Tale, pretty much. Well, not back to the Handmaid, but they're going to go to the Handmaid's Tale. You know, oh, we're gonna, you know, put women and chained up in the kitchen, you know, just cooking for us all day or something. You know, like they really have this bizarre belief, like that's what's going to happen.
question, bro. She's
mate selection. Mate selection includes relationship.
She's disqualifying potential mates.
Not necessarily. If that guy comes and talks to her, and he's got game, she might be interested. So what I'm saying is that.
What are you speaking about? Do you know that women would disqualify you, especially black women, if you wearing the wrong shoes? They're gonna be like, "Ew, nigga, what are those?"
Okay, that's
it don't matter what you say in that black chick's ear, she not giving you no chance. And that's with all races too, but it's very prevalent when it comes to black women.
All kinds of people get married. And you talk about mate selection, all kinds of people have children. It's not just the rich. It's not just the guys who
children is one thing and marriage is another thing. So you're conflating two things.
Mate selection. Is that not what you said? That is having children. That's mating. That's a definition.
Yeah, but just a bit ago you were putting forth an argument, but you made it wasn't correct. But anyways, yeah, in regards to mating, that would be you can have children, or you won't have children. Do you have any children?
No.
Okay, so are you married?
I am married. Are you?
Is you and your woman mating?
I wouldn't say we're mating. No.
Y'all have sex?
Yeah, but I don't think that.
Obviously, y'all made it, and y'all don't have kids, so that's what I'm speaking about, bro. It's not.
Okay, fair enough.
That's what I'm saying.
Mating had to do with children.
No, but most of these chicks out here is promiscuous. They're not even looking to with contraceptives and stuff like that. Yeah. They're not even.
By the way,
abortion
reproduction. By the way, I just looked it up, but okay, go for it.
Wait, I couldn't even hear you. Say that again.
Mating, the definition is reproduction.
That's totally fine. You can give me a Google definition, but in the context of this conversation, we were speaking about it differently. And you're just
talking about women choosing who they want to fuck. Is that what you're saying?
Women choosing men that they see that they can date. So women selecting men, mate selecting a man that they see a potential dating option. That's called mate selection. That's what I'm speaking about. So once again, my point that I'm speaking about, we're speaking about the cause of things before we get to the effect. And we are going to get to the effects. We're going to get to the prescriptions. We're going to get to the effects. But first, I want to see if you can push forth an argument that disputes the red pill descriptors and the truth that I'm telling you right now, right? So what we just noticed here, that women seem to be biologically hardwired to prioritize finances or the ability to garner finances and resources rather than emotional intelligence, kindness, and reliability. Because if they did, they would choose a broke guy and they would give the broke guy a chance and see if he's emotionally intelligent and kind and reliable. But guess what? They don't give those guys a chance. If they don't give them a chance, that means that they do still prioritize finances. You have to concede.
No, because I just told you that 45% of women make the same amount of money as the men.
Dude.
What? That doesn't mean anything. What are you talking about? If they are still choosing,
they're dating, they're equal. That is not dating up. That is not hypergamous. That is them choosing somebody that isn't necessarily prioritizing finances.
Okay, so you said that. Okay, so you said that currently women are dating.
Have like different definitions of what a partnership is. When I see a husband and wife partnership, I see it as they're partners, but they still have different roles. They're not necessarily equal partners, but they have different roles that they fulfill. You know, but these feminists they They see it as like, well, a partnership, like, oh, she has a job and he has a job and she's making, I don't know, however much money a year. He's also making the same amount of money a year, and it's a partnership. That's not how it is, man.
Correct.
Or Marion, which one is it?
Married.
Okay, they are married to men, and generally, your statistic, I'm not sure how you just read your statistic, but 50% of the 45 to 50, well, like 48 to 50% of the population is married.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
So within that data, the men out-earn the women. Do you know that?
Say it again, sorry.
Within that data of men and women getting married, about 48 to 50% of the population is married.
Yeah.
Right?
And 55% of that population, the men out-earn the women, 55%.
Which means that it's still a majority of the men are still out-earning the woman.
Correct.
And some women earn just as much. Do you have the data of...
45%.
Okay, do you have...
women
earn just as much. Now,
and
do you have...
29% make more.
29% make more.
Of women
so
make
there you
more.
go. So now we're comparing 29% versus...
29 versus 55.
No, we're not comparing to 55. What we're saying is if people are getting married, right? So 29% of the marriages, the women earn more.
Correct. And 45% they earn equal.
And then 45% is the equal. Right? And what hypergamy is that women would prefer to either date on their level or above their level. So you are not disproving hypergamy if it's only 29% of women that out-earn men.
But 45%, it's earned
bro,
the
just
same
hang it up,
or
bro.
more.
Even your own stats prove you right.
45% earn the same or more. And what I'm saying,
what's the definition of hypergamy?
Let me finish my point.
What is the definition of hypergamy?
My point.
Hypergamy is women.
Finish my point. Women have not had the same opportunity in the workplace their whole life. Women are already outpacing men in the workplace. They're outpacing men in college.
Yo, you have to prove me wrong, man. You just moving.
That's a good thing too. That's not a good thing that's happening. Like if that's true, that women are outpacing men in the workplace, that's not a good thing, dude. That's not a good thing. He probably champions them like, oh man, that is a good thing. Like it's not a good thing, man. If our biological roles of men are supposed to be the providers and you're taking away that role and women are just going to do everything, then they're not going to need men anymore. And you don't think that's going to be harmful to men? Like men's like, well, I'm not really needed around here. I can't find a woman because they could just provide for themselves now and all this shit. So, then they end up taking their lives or something like that. Like that's why we argue that feminism is the harmful thing. I would go argue that we wouldn't have the red pill movement if it weren't for feminism, because the men are turning to the red pill movement for validation and for answers on what's going on. Like, how come they're miserable? How come they can't meet women? And the red pill movement is giving them the descriptors of what the problem is. And so I don't think, without feminism, you wouldn't have the red pill movement.
Goalpost again.
Going to happen when women?
You asking me what? You asking me what? So here's what you're doing. You're moving a goalpost and asking me what do I think is going to happen. Meanwhile, we're speaking about what is happening because you lost this part. You just concede that. Okay, Cooley. No. Just see that Cooley. No. Women are hypergamous. They still the stats show that 45% date on their level, and 55% date above their level.
And it's trending up. Yes.
Got you. So what does that still mean? The majority of women, what does hypergamy mean? Hypergamy means that women would prefer to date on their level or above their level. If 29% of women are dating below their level when it comes to finances, this means that you are not disproving hypergamy. You are actually proving hypergamy because the majority of women is still either dating equally or above. Can you concede to the point so we can move forward?
No,
you did not disprove hypergamy.
I am not conceding that point.
Oh man, bro, you don't know. Do you not know how to do math?
I know exactly how to do math. I'm the only one that brought stats to this debate. You're the one just saying shit like women are biological. Women are biologically this. Women are you're not a biologist, and you're saying all this. You don't know what you're talking about.
Said the whole, well, you're not a biologist, so you can't speak on this. Well, neither are you, dude.
I don't know what I'm speaking about, but you just can't.
Women throughout history have not been able to earn as much as men. They are now catching up. So maybe at one
It's that whole they're catching up excuse, dude. Women have been able to, work in. Well, they've always been able to work, but especially since like what the 70s or whatever, the 60s or the 70s, where there's really been a push for the equality and stuff, the civil rights. Ever since then, women have been allowed to enter in these fields and such, and they're still behind in men. And so it's not because, oh, we haven't allowed them access. Well, no, we've given them access, and they still overall in general haven't taken it. Raphael is probably going to say, yeah, well, that's because they're excluded from the men that are in these spaces. That's always the go-to also as well, that, oh, we still exclude them even though there's no laws excluding them. Us as men, the boys club excuses what they come up with, and it's horseshit.
one point, yes, they were absolutely hypergamous. They had no other choice because men only made more money than women. And now that is changing. And now that women are making their own money, you see in the data, they're willing to date people below them. And that could trend.
Well, maybe because they have to. The thing is, too, is that they're not willing. Maybe it's because they have to. Maybe these are women that, even because, again, men don't seek women that make a lot of money. We just don't. We don't give a shit if we meet a woman that's making 500,000 a year, or if they're working at the McDonald's, making what, I don't know, 20K a year, 30K a year. Like, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter to us. What matters to us are different things. And so, you're going to have women that are maybe earning a lot, but maybe in the looks department, they can't get the football player because the football player has options, right? The football player is going to go after the 9s or the 10s. And if this woman is still maybe a 5 or a 6, well, yeah, they're not going to get the football player. So maybe then in those cases, yes, they're going to have to settle. They have to settle for less. But just because they are still dating down, that doesn't mean it's their preference or that they want to.
As long as women continue to make their own money. But you're not conceding that point.
So when it comes to hypergamy means to date on the level or above the level, right? That is what it means, right?
I believe so, yes.
So if they're dating above the level, generally 71% of women is dating either on the level or above the level. Mm-hmm. You would have to say that generally, because general is most, if 71% is more than 29, we would have to say that generally women are still operating in their hypergamy.
I can concede that, but I can't.
That's what I said, man. What are you talking about?
What I'm saying is that it's not some natural thing. It is a societal thing.
Natural.
It is.
Oh, that's another cope. That's another cope. It's society. These are societal constructs. Again, at the beginning of, I don't know, civilization or whatever, we all got together and we're like, okay, men, you're gonna be the providers. Women, you're gonna stay at home, take care of the kids and stuff. All right, break. Let's do this. And that's how it went. Like, no, biology. We went toward this direction because of biology, because men were more inclined to do this, women were more inclined to do that. That's why we got in the position. It wasn't, you're putting the cart before the horse. Like, it's not the other way around. It's, no, we're biologically wired to do this, and women are biologically wired to do that in general. But it's not just a societal construct. It wasn't like women were desiring to work all of this time. Like, majority of women really wanted to go and become engineers or scientists or whatever, and it was just us going, no. It's just that's not what happened. It's biology is a big factor.
Because if women, hold on, if women earned as much money as men did throughout history, you're telling me they'd still be hypergamous because it's biology?
Yeah.
Why?
They'll still be hypergamous.
They're proving that now that they're making money, that's not the case. They're proving that already.
No, they're not proving it.
Yes,
they're miserable. Most of those women that get married to a man. Let me finish my point, man. I'll let you land your plane. Most of those women that marry men where they earn more, the probability of divorce actually increases when a woman out earns the man.
Yeah.
And I have stats on this, and we could show,
because there's no need for the man. There's not really that much need there. And those emotional and kind and all those other things, well, they could find it in another man. So, because women could earn more and all these things, like they don't really need the man as much. And since divorce affects benefits the women more than the men in general, well, I mean, yeah, of course they're gonna find it easier to walk away from the marriage. It's gonna be easier for them.
Show our data and stuff like that, but we can speak about it logically without showing data. Okay. So do you think that women, how can I say it? Do you think that women want a man to lead the relationship generally?
I don't think that's necessarily true. No.
Oh, come on,
Oh,
dude.
okay. What would be your definition of lead? Maybe we got two different definitions of lead.
Maybe having like the wife being submissive. Is that what you're saying?
Well, lead the relationship. That would be part of it, but that's not all of it. But yeah, a wife following her man's lead, like she's willing to defer, meaning that if if it's like a confusion going on and it's like, oh honey, I think we should go left. Oh no, honey, I think we should go right. And then she's gonna defer to her man's decision, like, okay, you said go right, I trust you, let's go right. That would be part of submission, where the woman has the ability to defer and just follow her man instead of arguing.
I mean, that's true, Nick. That is true. The economy is a big factor. There's a lot of economical issues on why women have to work. That is a big factor, possibly even the main factor. But this feminism push telling women that they have to work, that oh, you need to save up for your escape dowry in case your husband beats you or something like that, and so you need your own money for your escape dowry in case you have to divorce your husband. Like all these pushes have also been a big factor as well. So it's the economy, and it's also this big propaganda push from feminism that has led to women working more.
Arguing with her man. Do you think that women want a man that they can trust to follow his lead?
No, I think women want
You don't.
partnerships. I think women want partnerships. That's
No.
what I
Okay,
think.
cool. So you think that women want in a partnership to you? How would you explain that? Like it's equal?
I would say mostly equal. I would say more like, okay, maybe responsibilities are split based on who's better at certain responsibilities. That's what I would say. So like
Okay.
one person's better at finances, that they manage the finances, but one person's better at raising children. So they manage that, but there's no one default leader in the relationship. No.
Okay, so that would still be like gender roles, because if one
Not
person is
necessarily
better,
gender roles. That was a bad example.
well,
I
that
used
would be given
children.
roles though. That would be given roles. So if
No.
your metric to organize things, well, if not, correct me if I'm wrong.
Because if the man is a better cook and he cooks, that's not gender roles. He's better at it. The wife doesn't cook.
No, that would still be roles. So look, if your metric, let me just, before you make that face, man, let me just.
Why is he getting all freaking like? God, he's getting all sassy, dude. Dude, is it that time of the month for Raphael, man? I think it's always that time of the month for this dude. The way he acts, he gets so freaking sassy and gets the. Oh my God, I'm just filling up with rage inside. He's just making me so upset. Ugh. So, with the gender roles, by the way, I need to take a mental note so I could edit that out later. 211. 211. Okay. So, with the gender roles though, so this guy, like he says, well, sometimes in the marriages, you have the man who wants to cook and the woman take care of the finances, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, just because there are going to be, listen, no one's like against that. We're not saying every single marriage has to fit this role. We're saying, no, in general, these are the roles. This is just how it is. But because there are some outliers, you're trying to now reshape everything because of these outliers. So because there are some marriages where the guy cooks, and there are some marriages where the guy stays home and takes care of the kids, and some marriages where the wife goes out and works. Well, therefore, we shouldn't push society into this generalized mold of what a marriage is. And it's like, no, dude, you're turning everything topsy-turvy when you do shit like that.
Explain myself of what I mean, because you may agree.
Okay.
So if your metric and position, right, this would create roles. Do you agree or disagree?
Not necessarily. Like I said, it's a partnership. So like, okay, it's a partnership.
How did that not make sense to you?
Because it's
How can you say
roles.
no to that?
Because I'll tell you right now, I don't have a role in my relationship. I'm a partner in my relationship.
Okay, let me give you an analogy real quick.
Gay.
If you working at a company, I'm not going to ask what you do for a living, but you've
partnerships are for gays, not for heterosexual relationships.
You seem like you're in your 30s or 40s.
I'm 40.
So you worked before 40. Cool. Good for you. So you're 40 years old. You worked at many companies before. And the manager, you would say that how they organize things, they put the best person in certain positions, right? Like the person that's not too good. Let's just say hypothetically, you're working at a call center, right? And you have a person that's really good with diffusing an irate caller. Well, they're gonna put them at more of like floor support and taking irate calls rather than a person that's good at the technical part and getting the technical piece of the situation done. So this creates roles based off of who is best at whatever scale, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is roles. So what I'm saying is, even in a relationship, man, there's no escaping. If the metric is, well, I'm better at this than you are, so I should do this and you should do that. If that's the metric, that is still gender roles. Now, it may not be the traditional gender roles,
I can get with that.
but it is still gender roles. We agree.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. That's all I'm saying. So within that dynamic, if my question again, does a woman want a man to be a leader? And you said that one of the leader, well, you really didn't say, well, you said that no, a woman wants a partnership. Got it. So now let's stick with this. If the woman wants a partnership, generally speaking, what roles do you think that the woman wants the man to play versus her? Now, there's always exceptions to the rule, man. And I'll even grant it right here and say there's some women, a small portion of women, they would rather be the one that's working more and chasing their career, and they don't really like to cook, and the man maybe would do some cooking and stuff like that. That can be like an exception to the normal gender roles, you would say, right?
Yeah.
But generally, what role do you think a woman wants the man to play in a relationship? Generally,
if I'm staying with what I suspect women in modern times want in a partnership, I think it's just going to depend on their partner. I think each relationship is going to be different. I don't think there is just one thing. Now, like let's go into protection, because I know you like to talk about that too. Like as a part of like a relationship, men being a protector, right?
Okay, would you say protecting is part of leadership?
Not necessarily. No. Like for example.
Okay, what type of protection do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Well, like let's say physical protection. Let's say
okay.
Physical. This is purely physical. We're talking about like traditional stuff. If I'm married to a UFC female fighter, I'm hoping she's the one that is going to go downstairs and handle business.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. I remember when he said this, I busted out laughing that he would want his UFC fighter wife to go out and check what's going on downstairs. What a freaking pussy. I said this. I was like, listen, I'm not pretending to be no tough guy or anything. I don't think I am, to be honest. But my natural instinct as a man, I don't give a shit if my wife is a UFC fighter. I don't care if she's the champion. I am still going out and inspecting the noise. Okay, I'm not gonna send my wife to do that. That's freaking pussy shit. Send your wife to go check the noise? Hell no. I'm still doing that. It's just again my natural instinct as a man. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna go on there and I'm gonna be Chuck Norris and kick the guy's ass or anything like that. But it's still gonna be me, and you better damn well believe I'm gonna give it my best shot. Imagine like sending your wife to check it, even if she's a good fighter, a trained martial arts expert. Like it doesn't matter how well trained she is. If she's a well trained 5'4" fighter, and the guy breaking in here is a 6'2" strong dude, it's not going to give a shit how good of a fighter she is. It's still up to me to go protect her, because I still have even if I'm not a trained fighter, I still have the better shot at taking out the 6'2" strong guy, because I'm still stronger. This guy. I'm pretty sure this dude's married to a UFC fighter, and he's like, "Oh, thank God." Listen, honey, can you go inspect the noise, please? Can you go? I'm scared. I'm scared. I'll be up here. I'll be holding down the fort. I'm gonna lock the door. I'll be on the phone with the cops if anything happens. But can you go down and check that noise, honey, please? Thank you. You're so brave.
If you're married to a UFC fighter,
correct, like a woman UFC fighter, she's more capable at combat than I am, theoretically. I would want her theoretically to go down and handle the intruder, not necessarily me, but because I am more capable than my wife, I'm the one that's going to go do that because I'm more capable in that position. But that doesn't make me a leader. It doesn't make me the one who makes the final decision.
And why are you more capable than because
okay.
you're physically stronger, right?
Physically stronger, and I've done some martial arts training. Yes.
Okay, cool. So then you would still say that you would be the best at that position then, as far as physical protection, even if the woman had some, martial arts training and she was a UFC fighter.
Yeah, if I'm still the most capable, then that's what I would do because I'm the most capable, not because it's like my gender or because it's
dude,
the role.
But your gender has to do with it. Your gender is the reason why you're more capable, dude. They're linked. They're linked. Like, he tries to separate it by saying, well, it's because I've had more martial arts training and I'm stronger and I have more martial arts training. And it's like, yeah, no, dude. Like, again, me here, I've had no martial arts training. And if my wife had if she was a full-on black belt in something and I'm sitting here with no training, I'm still going to go see what's going on. I'm still doing that. And why? It's tied to my gender, because I am bigger and I am stronger. So I am more likely going to be able to handle it. Now, if my wife were like the Big Show or something like that, she's 7 feet tall and huge, then maybe I would be like, yeah, maybe you could go do that, But if that's not the case, then no, I'm still doing it.
Well, that I was assigned at birth, it's because I'm more capable. So I should
But if the woman was
and then he says gay shit like, oh, but the gender that I was assigned at birth. Ugh.
but if the woman was more capable, which that would be rare, sure. Because even UFC fighters, they're typically still not stronger than an average man that don't even really work out. They're still not going to have that oomph in them to really, you get what I'm saying? So if we're living in reality, even if a woman is a UFC fighter and she has some combat training and the man doesn't, the man would still be more capable of protecting the household.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen them spar, but if I saw them spar, then
I haven't seen them spar. This fucking guy, dude.
You can determine who's more capable, but I'm saying,
but well, we know that, like, if we're truly being honest, we know that even a woman that's a UFC fighter, if she punches, she has less bone density. Her muscle, her twitch and muscle movements isn't as fast and isn't as strong as just even a man that doesn't even work out is not going to be strong. She's not going to be stronger generally, unless like she's a bodybuilder, then she can maybe lift up some more weights. But like a UFC fighter, she's not going to be stronger than just, an average man that doesn't even work out. So with that being said, the man is still more capable. So if the man is always more capable, even if the woman is a UFC fighter, with your metric that we put the best person in position, generally speaking, men would still be the protector.
In general, because of the more capable ones, yes.
Yeah. So, okay, got it. We agree on that. Now, I would say that part of leading is protecting, physical protection.
I don't think that's leading. Ugh. I don't see it as leading. I see it as
you don't see that as leading.
You should do if you're capable of it, but I don't see that as like, now I get the final decision in our
Okay, I got another way to explain leading. And maybe you would agree with this. So, would you say that the person so we agreed already that in the relationship dynamic of men and women in a household, you are going to categorize it and put the best person in the role. So when it is being categorized and people are going into their roles, do you think that the leader is the one that?
By the way, that whole beta thing, he gets he like bitches about that later on in this debate. He goes, "Oh yeah, where do you think calling people beta comes from? The red pill movement." Yeah, and then he's like, and what's a Chad? Like, where did Chad come from? Like, it makes complete sense that this dude probably knows what a beta is, doesn't know what a Chad is, because he's probably never been called a Chad, but he probably gets called beta a lot.
Their role holds the most stake in maintaining the relationship.
No,
Meaning-
and what role do you think holds the most stake? I don't
Okay.
agree, but I'm curious what you think role holds the most stake.
Okay, so like protecting. So like, okay, well, you won't have a relationship if in case something happens and an intruder breaks in and the man can't protect you, you just won't have a relationship. You just won't have a relationship. You guys will be dead, right?
Yeah, but the
so
likelihood
that holds a lot of stake. And I do know the likelihood of an intruder breaking in and
Less than
trying to rob
1%.
you is extremely low. But from the woman's mind, women view protection as insurance. If in case something happens, right?
Yeah.
We get insurance every day, car insurance, home insurance. We all know that we want to protect ourselves if in case something happens.
Yeah.
So that's important. That's very important.
I agree.
So,
you want to feel safe.
You want to feel safe, right? So since that is important, it doesn't matter if, home robberies are only like, 1% of the time and stuff like that. It's still insurance. And I think that holds a lot of importance in a relationship.
Yes, but I don't think that defaults to leadership. But yeah, I agree. It's important to feel safe. Yes.
Okay. What I'm saying is, however you want to go ahead and put the man or the woman in certain positions based off of their scale of being the best in said position. My question for you, if it's the case that the person in the positions, that these positions hold the most stake to maintain the relationship, would that person be the leader or no? Like, it's like, this position, we all know that certain positions is a little bit more important than others. Is not saying that they're all important, but we do know that there's some positions that's more important than others. So the person that is in the positions that happens to be more important for the relationship to thrive and to last, we would have to say that's the leader, right?
I think that's interesting, but I don't necessarily agree. But I will say that if the likelihood that a man has to protect the home, which we agree is little, then I would argue that maybe.
I mean, you have to do that too. Like, he has to do that. Like, well, it's a small chance that your home could be invaded. Okay, I'm pretty sure if we were to tell Raphael, hey, how about all of us husbands tell all of our wives, hey, listen, you're in charge of protecting the house. Let's just tell women, hey, you're in charge of protecting the household, but don't worry about it because the chances of a home invasion happening is very small. I'm pretty sure Raphael would be like, what? No, we shouldn't do that. So it doesn't matter how often it happens. He just has to throw that in there to kind of, again, not fully concede that Cooley is right.
Maybe even raising a child is the most important role in the home. So if that's the most important role in the home, how does that woman not become the leader in that kind of scenario?
Okay. If raising the child is most important in the home, in order for the child to be raised, the child first must be protected.
Yep.
Physically protected, and a child, in which the man does because he's more capable. So we know that the man is always in that position. Mm-hmm. And then also, generally, the man is the one that's the provider. He's the one that's making more. With your statistic, he's the one that's making more than a woman. So he's the one that's actually providing the resources for the woman to raise the children. The woman wouldn't be able to raise the children without the man's resources.
Yep.
So we would have to say that the man's ability to garner resources and protect the woman is more important, because if he doesn't do that, the woman wouldn't have anything to protect because she would be dead or she would be starving.
Yeah. Here's what I'll concede. I think if a man makes more money and, the woman doesn't work, then if that household agrees that the man should be the leader, then great. There's no problem with that. But I think if a household is 50-50 or, both people are working and they agree that a partnership works better, I don't think it necessarily defaults to the guy who might have to protect the house one day when the likelihood is low that he will.
Okay, but you did agree that women like to feel safe. So it is very important, like that insurance that men hold, which is protecting the woman, that insurance is very important because the woman actually wants to know that the man is capable of protecting her if in case something happens. And if the woman views a man like he isn't capable of protecting her, you would say that then she wouldn't feel good, right?
I mean, I think there's a lot of weak guys that are married, but
yeah, but if we can like we know that there's
You can't just answer the question. He has to always give a
weak
caveat.
guys that's married and weak guys in a relationship. But forget us. It's like how the female views that guy. Like
Yeah.
I know some guys that's like they're weaklings, right? But their woman views him as everything.
Right.
So it's all we would say that since the insurance for the man protecting the woman and the woman's eyes is based off her feeling protected, we would have to say that that's important, because if she doesn't think that he is capable of protecting her, she actually wouldn't feel secure.
Yes, but I also want to. I agree with that. I do want to point out though that we started with physical protection, but I would.
So I'm gonna end it here. But if you want to see the full debate, go to the No Fugazee channel. It's new. It's called "Is Red Pill a Net Positive or Negative for Men?" And if you think that Raphael sounded ridiculous so far, yeah, believe me, it does not get any better. He ends up running off. He has to. I thought it was only. You said it was only going to be 30 more minutes, and he ends up rushing off. But I think that Cooley says that he quit, but I don't think he quit. I think he just had to go cook his wife dinner, and he was running late. And so, listen, I'm not sure if there's any hope for Raphael. I actually want to talk to this dude, because this dude, like, I want to get to the bottom of why they insist on this whole partnership and feminism and red pill bad. Like, I want to get to the root on all this. Like, why can't this guy just be genuine and give a genuine answer? Like, why? What does he think's going to happen? Like, if he acknowledges the descriptions, that maybe there's some validity of what the red pill describes, that we're going to go to the Handmaid's Tale like tomorrow or something? Like, what is this? What does he think is going to happen? So I think I'm actually going to reach out to him and try to see if he wants to come on my channel. But what did you guys think about this? How did you guys think Cooley did? How do you guys think Raphael did? Sound off in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. You'll be helping me out a lot. And give this video a like as well. If you like seeing Cooley, I do got more Cooley stuff on my channel. I also have the Andrew Wilson, Rafael Gomez debate if you want to see how that went down. And a whole bunch more on my channel for you to binge on and enjoy.